once again. Everything that start gotta end. So don't waste time, get it in. Why wait? Say it tomorrow, but you got today. Put them excuses away. Pick up the pace. If you really want it, then you gotta chase. Hey, I need a whole lot of space. Make some room. I gotta what? I gotta prove that I'm nothing like you. And I'ma do it. If it's in the way, then we going through it. Like a Peloton, gotta keep it moving. Talk is too cheap, you just gotta do it. You ain't gotta like it, cause it's stats approved. Only one way. Gotta bring it straight to their face. Ain't nobody safe. Plus it's only one first place. Know what that means? This ain't a fight, it's a war. We focus on up in the score. If you think you better than battle. If you really with it, then battle. Just battle. If you think you better than battle.
Let's get it.
Only first place finishes, so I seek and destroy every one of my nemesis. My power limitless, and my scorecard is perfect, it don't have no blemishes. No apologies, cause I ain't just my nature that makes me a different type of creature. I'm a bitcher, bonafide gamer. Before you play me, better read the disclaimer. I'm that force to be reckoned with. I know your mama didn't warn you, you shouldn't be messing with. You don't compare to me. We're not the same, there's no similarity. Moment of clarity, you should be scared of me. Run all, you'll never get rid of me. So incredibly outdone. If we go to war, I'm the one you can't outrun.
Only one way. Gotta bring it straight to their face. Ain't nobody safe. Plus it's only one first place. Know what that means? This ain't a fight, it's a war. We focus on up in the score. If you think you better than battle. If you really with it, then battle. Just battle. If you think you better than battle. Just battle. If you really with it, then battle. Just battle. If you think you better, then battle me. When it's time to ball. We back in the field, back. We ready, it's time. It's nothing but hustle inside of the huddle, you know that I grind. A dangerous mind, a weapon of choice when pushing the line. Go overtime and I won't break when it's crunch time. My end game is number one. Bet it all, give me my cash. Supreme game, can't stop it. Take off like a rocket. Break your back, don't bend mine. I'm the one now, you can't hide. Legendary like legacy. This is our moment, our time. This is our moment. This is our time. Time is now. It's time to rise. This is our moment. This is our time. The time is now. It's time to rise. Yeah. Coming for glory. We ready for war. The city's behind us. We giving you more. We ready whenever. The world is watching. The time is now. No other option. No other way. Play to win the way that we play. Destined for greatness, born to be great, ahead of the game. In front of the pack, leading the way, it's time to reign. The kingdom's here. This is our year. Been to the bottom, ain't nothing to fear. We running the game. Rushing the field for every yard, on every play. Nobody's safe. Rise when we fall. But never stay down. The champs is here. Doing it for the 10. This is our moment. This is our time. The time is now. It's time to rise. This is our moment. This is
our moment. It's our time. Feet in the dirt. Nose to the grind. Like the crack of dawn. You can't stop the shine. Moment after moment. Day after day. It's our time.
Lock and loaded, it's time for war. Ha. Tear it down, kick in the door. Yeah, I want it all, give me some more. Ha. I want it all, give me some more. I want it all, give me some more. Yeah. Kill them all, it's time for war. It's time for war. Like pandemonium, I set it off. Yeah. Sacrifice, I bear the cross. Legendary, I'm a big dog. Hard knock on the front line. Pure blood, my bloodline. Headshots the first time. My aim good, bullseye. Warfare. Don't play fair, don't play fair. You not sure? Don't go there, I'm right here. No fear, I'm ready to go at top speed. No brick wall can block me. No army can stop me. Yeah, I want it all and I can't lose. I came far and I won't stop. This my time, I pay dues. Yeah, it's war time and I won't retreat. I want it all, give me some more. I kill them all, won't taste defeat. Now bow down at the king's feet. It's time for war. I want it all, give me some more. Kill them all, it's time for war. Kill them all, it's time for war. It's time for war.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to iRacing on LSRTV, simulcast on the Community Radio Network, and the final three races of the season. Man, this year has flew by. We are ready to rock and roll tonight. Miles the Munster for Dover and the trucks this past Thursday night went caution-free with no issues whatsoever. What will the Cup cars entail? That is our virtual location in the sim tonight for the next round of the playoffs of the round of 8. Of course, one driver, if they are a playoff contender, can advance to the championship 4, and we're ready to bring it to you. iRacing on LSR TV and simulcast on the Community Radio Network. Good evening. I am Wesley Outlet, as always. Joined alongside is Terry Radford, who has survived from a broken chair, shades of what the Volunteers did when they tore down the field goal posts in Tennessee, and they're recovering. I guess he broke his chair because Georgia beat that ass on Saturday night in the football game. You took a very humble beating there, Terry. You took it like a champion, for sure. Welcome aboard, brother.
Yeah.
Is it what? There's a thing called dead air. We're on the air, radio, dead air. Hello.
Listen. In hindsight, it was a good thing, right, that Tennessee lost, because you think about Georgia's going to have to play the SEC championship game. TCU is going to lose to Texas Saturday. Michigan,
yeah.
Ohio State still have to play one another. One of those are going to get blown out. Probably going to be Michigan because Ohio State's that good on offense that they're them. Like that That's the team. If we talk college football,
right.
we'll see each other in Florence. We'll have a better understanding of what the college football landscape is going to be when we get to Florence
Hands
together.
down.
But,
And one thing we do know for sure, Tennessee ain't going to a bowl game, and neither, or at least to the college football playoff championship, and neither is Alabama. So I've got
they're number
no really
5
room
in
to
your
talk.
heart. They're number 5 on the board. Number 5 in your heart. TCU loses, they'll drop out. And I would still think that a one-loss Alabama was ahead of an undefeated TCU, that you would still see a one-loss Tennessee ahead of TCU. But even if you don't, they'll lose. Ohio State or Michigan will lose. They'll put the Tennessee team back in the top 4. You got to beat South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Missouri. That's 3 cakewalks. It'll be literally bye week after bye week after bye week, and then another 2 weeks to prepare for whatever competitor you got. Bama, it's crazy to think that Bama fans are more worried about Tennessee losing than getting beat by Brian Kelly. The elephant in the room. There's an elephant in the room somewhere. We'll talk something awesome here for a second, because you talked about a caution-free race at Dover, right? None of us saw that. Me, you, and I believe Tim Moore did not see a caution-free race happening at Dover. I don't think we see a caution-free race here tonight. I think with this next-gen car presents a very different challenge. With the fact that the back end of these cars and the rear diffuser creates a different balance here.
Sure.
When they come off at 2, they come off at 4, you have a dip. It goes down and then bam, comes back up. That diffuser is going to upset the balance. You're going to see some drivers spin out, go down to the infield. It's going to be a very exciting race for, I think it's 160, 175 laps. We got a long time to go here at LSRTV. Yeah, we got a minute. Our producer in our ears throwing us off on numbers too.
Well, he's telling us it's going to be 80 laps around on tires, 70, 75 laps on fuel is what we're being told. So
yeah.
Oh, my apologies. 25 on tires, 75, 80 on fuel is what we're being told in our ear. Yes, we have other people talking to us. We're going cray on the broadcast,
and he's just kind of throwing us off. We literally told him before that we're not numbers guys. We call racing. We call what's on the screen. Everything else is just kind of like back behind us. All right, we see each other. We talk to each other. We see racing. We talk racing. We don't know what he's saying to us.
Well, here's the deal. We're down to the final 3 races here tonight. Of course, at Dover Motor Speedway, you've got Dover and you've got Phoenix coming up next Monday night. For the next 3 weeks, we will determine who will be the champion. And again, it's going to be one of these drivers that if they do not be a playoff driver, you're not going to advance unless you can do it by points. We saw Ryan Bloom join Stephen O'Hare for the Truck Series this past Thursday night in that caution-free race at Dover. But again, the spectrum is wide open here for the Cup Series. And if you remember, Ryan Bloom was a number 8 seed going into that race on Thursday night. Could we see another Hail Mary pass from a low-ranked points contender to move in to the championship round at Homestead? Because you got to remember, we heard someone say last week, well, I wanted to win this race because I'm not going to be here for Phoenix. So that's what Ryan Bloom said. So no matter what happens, him not being there Thursday for the race at Phoenix, he's going to Homestead for a championship. Yeah. Those are the types of things that can happen, Terry, if you can be able to win the race, no doubt.
Well, you brought up a good point. I like what you did there with the Broncos on the Brian Bloom machine, the Hail Mary. That's good. That's good play on words. There's a reason you're number 1 over there in your world, your side. Ritter's family.
Thank you.
Waved out there too. I mean, I respect the mess out of you. I've had a good working relationship with you, but you're right. You're absolutely right. This is going to come down to who can go out here and put it on the line. I just called an amazing race at RSR on Race Spot. 2 tires. 2 tires won the dang race. Apparently 2 tires, 20 laps on them. You could hold them off. Could we see that tonight? Could we see that in this race where 2 tires drops it? Our producer says not a chance. It's going to come down to strategy. Who wants it more? There's 2 times. There's 2 more races to go to lock yourself into Homestead. It's time to start making those Hail Mary bonsai moves. You got to do something. You got to think of something outside the box. You're not going from an 8 seed to the number 1 guy on the market. Sometimes you ain't the freshest peach in the box, but you're the one that gets picked up, put in the bag. tonight we could see not the freshest peach go out there and win the damn thing.
Sometimes you're the windshield, and sometimes you are the bug, like a volunteer or a dog. We're going to go back to commercial break. When we come back, we're going on track. This is a great night. We're glad you're here. Miles the Munster ready to chomp them up. The Cup Cars, the Northwest. Back in a moment, iRacing, LSRTV, Community Radio Network. And yes, Charles Wooten is the man in our ear, making us go cray-cray in the commercial world. We're back.
Roll Tide.
Your CRN, my CRN, our CRN. We are CRN. The Community Radio Network now and the new WCRN 87.9 FM. And still always anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN. Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
This is our series,
so many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it?
They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outland up topside at one of the great racetracks of the world, the Caraway Speedway. And I'd like to remind you to join us every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern with coverage of Finish Line, where we talk to everybody from NASCAR to grassroots, like right here at Caraway Speedway. Carolina's Fox Sports Radio affiliates, iHeartRadio, and on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM. And remember, thanks to Live Sim Racing Productions, you can actually see the guest panel, ask their questions, get interactive with us with comments and so much more in our chat box. Finish Line every Wednesday. Join us every week. Qualifying has concluded here at the Dover Motor Speedway. You're looking at on-track activity here right now as we get ready for the field to grid. Real quickly, let's show you the point standings real fast of as we'll get ready. Okay, well, we'll bring them up to you here later is what I've been told. We'll get them to you here because right now we're going to go to the starting lineup. So let's get the lineup here for the race. Well, there's Lake Peterson, number 9. Probably one of the dominant, well, actually he is the dominator of the Northwest Cup this year. He's on the pole with the number 9 to the outside. What a qualifying run for Brian Reynolds in car number 12. Row number 2, Cole Raz and Caden Anderson, super friends on the front row. By the way, hope our colleague Justin Prince gets to feeling better, understanding he is under the weather here in Canada. Devin West, Sean Brightsman, great job joining us in the booth last night for the Major Series finale at Homestead in the 46. Row number 4. Chris White, last year's champion, out this year, and the winner in Talladega in the Truck Series. Toby Ritter's in car number 23. Top 10, Jeff Stabnow, Kentucky winner. Jaden Ledbetter looking for his first career win of the series in 36.
You got Troy Daggett back there in row 6 with Carl Burke. Go back to row 7. We're looking at Chad Mallett and Bryce Clark. Row 8. You're going to find Aaron Cooper, old crazy pick with Stephen O'Hare. Row 9, go back there to Brian Barnes. I was reading all crazy. And Casey Garber. Back here, row 10, Paulison and Rick Harris.
Chris Camary will tag the back of the number 15, and we are ready to go. 21 cars, 175 laps. Green flag is in the air. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race at Dover. Yes, let the music fade out perfectly as the race gets the green flag with Lake Peterson bringing them down the back straightaway. They go into the third turn. Everybody else single file, by the way. It's 175 laps. 175 miles, and already 1 lap in. It's going to be Peterson leading lap number 1 there into turn 1, Terry.
You see him single file out. You see Cole Rass. He's the only one kind of using that middle-ish groove. Not too wild to see that the top 5 kind of pulling away here as you see the 5 of Devin West just riding, being patient, being consistent right here. And you got Brightson right here. He did a whale of a job last night calling that major series with you guys. Hate that I missed it. NIS iRacing stuff as Brightson shot up the racetrack there, almost tagged the wall. He got passed.
Yeah, he got up into the wall and right in the middle of the snakes patch, if you will, now in the top 10. As his teammate Jeff Stabnow right alongside with him, along with Carl Burke of the 53. There goes the 36 of Ledbetter behind him as well. All this transpiring going back to turn number 1. Right now underway here at Dover.
These drivers are having a hard time so far. You kind of see these cold tires presenting a challenge. I'm very curious to see what the track temp is, given the fact this is a concrete track. That it's going to take a minute to get some rubber into the track. You see that the rubber lay-in the corners. It'll change throughout this 175 lap run. These cars are going to change. The balance is going to change. There's a lot that's going to go on in this race, and if this does go caution-free, I think pitting in these cars, Wesley, is going to be a whole lot harder than it was pitting in those trucks. Because you have that diffuser that's going to have to change banking from the actual concrete down to the asphalt. It's a different bit here with the diffuser on the back.
I've worked a race at Dover before, and as they work the back straightaway, probably one of the coolest things ever, Terry, was standing on top of the Ally Bridge as the car starts storming down the back straightaway going to the 3rd turn. That is quite a rush, definitely. If you ever get a chance to go to Dover, you should do that.
I definitely want to go. This has been one of my favorite racetracks. I mean, I remember watching on TV, seeing, I believe it was Clint Boyer going rollover, going end over end in the Busch Series back then, and Joey Logano, I believe it was Logano that turned him. Yeah, and there was a lot of things that happened here at this racetrack. Jimmy Johnson, the all-time winner here, I believe, in the Cup Series. There's a whole lot of history that's around this racetrack. As you look right here behind Jeff Stabnow, what a great camera angle. Where's this camera angle been all season? This is wonderful seeing the holes in the back of the car and looking behind him at this, massive conga line behind him, getting ready to pass him. And that car got the wall there.
And I got to give props also to Ledbetter saving that car up on the outside. Here we go down to the bottom of the racetrack behind Stabnow. Stephen O'Hare down to the inside, that 41 car, the American touch-up entry. Well, he says, excuse me, coming through. There you see from the front panel now. 41 cleared him just as clean as day there, going back to turn 1 there, Terry.
Yeah, for the people listening on CRN, if you ever get a chance to go over there on LSRTV on YouTube and watching some of these camera angles that Charles Wooten puts out for you, I hate that you can't see the picture that we got, but hopefully we bring a good sound for you as we go right here with LSRTV's owner, Jeff Stabnow, there for a second. That you see the banking change at this racetrack. You go down, it's like you're driving in a roller coaster. You go all the way down, and then you come back up the banking, and you feel like you're at Six Flags on that massive ride, the Superman, where you go up to the top, and then they just drop you. That's what this track feels like. And I raced about 30 laps around here getting in preparation for this race. I couldn't figure it out. It was a whole lot harder getting on the brake, kind of riding it a little bit, letting the gasket float, then get back on the gas a little bit, then burping it a little bit, then taking this roll right here. I caught the wall every time.
Sean Brightsman peeking down there to the inside as we're still on board with the machine of Jeff Stabnow. It's Aaron Cooper coming after him. Sean Brightsman right behind as they work their way to the back straightaway, or back front stretch into 1 and 2 now. And look at them just starting to, I really like this camera angle here. This is really sharp. Methodically, got to be patient. What are you thinking, Terry? 13 laps in? No problems yet by anybody?
Surprised? I would say 13 laps in, we haven't seen a caution. You've seen a lot of people make these late entry dive bombs in these corners. I'm surprised to see right here. We'll see the gear not shifting. I'm curious if we can take a fifth. I'm kind of curious if we can take a shot up at our leader, Lake Peterson, at a dashboard cam and see what he's doing. He stayed in fifth too. At some point in time in this race, I would expect to start seeing some cycling of the gears. Once the tires start to wear, rolling down into fourth, letting it roll through the corner, getting it down and seeing if maybe we try to save it a little bit. But you see the battle for the lead. Cole Rath had a peek at it, but then he had to back out real hard. He checked up. He went from on the door to about a tenth behind him.
You notice that there are 5 gears on the new next-gen Cup car in real life as well as on the virtual sim, and they are running it wide open. There goes, of course, Cole Raz, the number 10, starting to try to reel him in. Reynolds right behind them. Chris White, Devin West in the top 5 as it stands right now. By the way, I want to give a shout-out to Toby Ritters from John Ottenbacher, the Billings, Montana native, is in Phoenix. He enjoyed NASCAR Championship weekend at Phoenix. By the way, congratulations to a couple of buddies of mine. Zane Smith picking up the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Championship on Friday night. In addition to that, of course, championship going to Ty Gibbs for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And then sadly, his father, Coy Gibbs, son of Joe Gibbs Racing, Joe Gibbs, the coach, his son, and of course, Ty Gibbs' father, Coy Gibbs, passed away the day after Ty Gibbs won the Xfinity Championship. And again, as I said, whatever your disloyals or pleasures are, what you think of a person and their character, you don't want to wish anybody's family member, anyone for that matter, death upon them and bad upon them. And it's just a tragic thing to happen, and they're in my thoughts and prayers. We got trouble as Devin West smacks the wall as he slammed the inside safer wall barrier, and he saves the car. And we will stay green. Save of the night here at Dover in the tally ballot for the number 5 there. And of course, Joey Logano, 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. Here is a replay, Terry Radford. What a save by the 5, Devin West. Boy, I thought he was going to bring out our first yellow flag. He saves this car coming off the back straightaway, man.
And often you see a save like that and not touch anything. Look here, he loses it. Oh, just barely touches the wall. Still going. Shows the durability in this machine. Kind of like, I believe it was Jimmy Johnson who spun off the exit of 4, did a full loop, kept her going straight in qualifying, and had everybody on pit road in just a standing ovation. With 22 laps in, these tires started to see a bit of a change. I mean, the fastest laps we were running was a 23.4 in that ballpark. We're already in the 24s. We're in the mid to upper 24s here. So far as we have some connectivity issues to the 47 machine right here. That would be Chris White having a little bit of connection issues here for this one. But back to what you're talking about with Coy Gibbs and Ty Gibbs. It puts perspective, right, into what life is. 1 second you're on the top of the world with your son, with your dad, with your family. And in the blink of an eye, that's all you have left is that moment, that picture. And what struck me was on Twitter, and the last thing you see is him standing next to his son, the trophy, and his wife. And then you sit there and think how precious life is and how much you have to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you, because you never know when it's last. I'm sure when Ty Gibbs won that championship and he took that picture on the front straightaway at the start-finish line with his dad, he thought for sure he'd be there Sunday morning to watch him. Oh, no!
Trouble. Contact at Stabnow. It's Jeff Stabnow and collects the 11 of Harris. And they keep it going. No caution. Off the pace, the 11 at the bottom of the apron. He will go to the flat. We will stay green. Ford, number 11, has locked up the left front. You can see it all bowed in on the toe end of the number 11 suspension of Harris's car. He will have to take a fast repair at least 30 laps into this race now, Terry.
Yeah, and he's going to have to pray for some cautions because, I mean, he's going to go a couple laps down. Jeff Stabnow, he's going to have to pray for some caution too. Yeah, he's going to have to pray. They're going to go at least 2 or 3 laps down here just for the slowness that they've had to go around this racetrack. Easily 3, possibly 4 laps down. You can see they're just crawling to their pit stall, hoping that they could just go a little bit faster here to get this done. This is a tough blow. So far, Troy Daggett and Caden Anderson. That's Caden Anderson 2 laps down for already.
We'll know what to find out what's going on with Caden Anderson. Right now, Stabnow and Harris. And I'm understanding Anderson had come down and take a pit stop. Something happened to the 37 car. And there goes Caden Anderson. Again, we're watching him now a couple of laps down in the 37 machine. Stabnow now 2 laps down, joining Daggett and Anderson. Harris is still on the pit lane. There you see Stabnow just coming back on track.
Yeah, Caden Anderson coming down for a pit stop, and Stabnow's 2 laps down, so he goes to Frank Harris, still sitting on pit road. Hopefully he checked his fast repair and not sitting there with damage repair, because that would definitely stink. But you look up here at the 12 machine, Sprier Reynolds. He's lost 1 position since the start of this race. He qualified 2nd. Cole Raz got around him, and he's fell about a second off from the race lead here. It'd be interesting that we've seen 2 near misses that could have been a caution, that should have been a caution. And now, here's Caden Anderson's issue. He's got, who's that in front of him? Is that the 20?
That's Ritters.
It's Toby Ritters. And then,
wow. Oh, Anderson did it to himself. Just hit the safer barrier up on the outside retaining wall and damage on the 37 Harvest Chevrolet.
That's the transition I talked about in the pre-race, is that when you come off these corners, you're actually going to dip. You're going to change, and the balance is going to change. And that diffuser, at some point in time, it's kind of like what Phoenix was. You're going to dip down, cut that dog leg, you'll drag that diffuser. It's going to make the back end kind of chatter a little bit. It's going to make those tires hurt. They're going to need some cautions. But unfortunately, as crazy as this might sound, this field has spread out. Kind of reminds us of what that truck race was. Very single file, very spread out, and it made you work for it. You had to work for every position on the field. I think we're coming for round 2 where, Wesley, we might go caution-free 2 for 2 at the Monster Mile.
Maybe. Right now, they're definitely mindful, watching their P's and Q's. There's a lot of respect being given to drivers on the racetrack. We've had a couple of cars get loose or spin or smack the wall, but nothing to draw a yellow flag yet, as we're already 33, working 34 laps into this race.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be interested to see if this does go caution-free. If it does, kudos to Northwest, because if we can have 2 at the toughest track to drive on, as you see Ritters right here, getting Jaden Ledbetter underneath him, and then that's Sean Brightsman as well. Hey, Ritters having a good run up here. He's drove to the outside, that throwback Budweiser scheme with the 23 on it. That's a pretty looking scheme.
Down the back straightaway, there's Brightsman. He had a little hiccup earlier in the race, but right now looks very strong in the number 7 position, the Brights Boutique entry. Here comes some more cars coming down onto the pit lane. 93, Bryce Clark. Clark all damaged, beat. So here's the thing, Terry. We are seeing cars coming into the pit lane, beaten, battered, banged, bruised, bandaged, and trying to get repairs, but it's not drawing a caution flag.
Well, iRacing says 90 degrees in the racing line is what's going to determine what a caution is. Unlike NASCAR itself, there's clear, concise rules on what brings out a caution over here on this side compared to what the real life is. You can see a a napkin on the racetrack to bring a caution out in NASCAR for real, but here it's 90 degrees. In the race to the line, brings out the yellow flag. We have not seen a car at the 90-degree mark here in this event so far. These drivers having issues. See the 53 right here on the bottom. He's coming down pit road. I think he smacked the wall at some point in time.
Carl Burke.
These things are loose, and they're learning. They're learning that Miles the Monster. He don't care if you're a championship favorite. He don't care if you're somebody back here just trying to ride around. He's going to grab out and bite you.
Take it out on you, definitely. And I'm understanding this is the closest battle on the racetrack, and it's not even a real battle. It's Chris White, Brian Reynolds, Cole Raz trying to run each other down. And honestly, here we go. Here we go again. Shades of what happened, if you remember. The other night, the Thursday night, in the truck race here at Dover. The same thing going on here. How about that?
Maybe we could just sing to each other and just, go 134 more laps. It just mellowed Bob Marley sounds. Or maybe we can just call this monotone, you know what I'm saying? We can just like soothe everybody to sleep.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right.
We could let's just
not.
call the
Come
race
on.
like this. You ready? I think we can do this. Who are we up here on? Is that the 47? Here's the 47. He's sitting here in third, 3.8 seconds back behind the leader, Lake Peterson. He's got Devin West and Brian Reynolds behind him. They're just.
That's what I was about to say. Are we golf announcers now? What he is number 12. Number 12, Brian Reynolds behind him. He is right now 5 car lengths behind the number 47 of Chris White, a former champion. Our producer's got bonkers in our ear.
Yes, fam.
Needless to say, Terry Radford, we better never audition for the Golf Channel.
I'm sure we'll get fired before we ever even make it off the headset. But I mean, what's it? NPR? Is it NPR that does the crappy broadcast?
No, they have the Golf Channel. They have the Golf Channel radio network. Yeah,
No,
matter of fact,
the
Bill
one that does the
Rosinski.
news stuff. The news people.
Oh,
Whoever
NPR
the news
News?
people are. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're so you listen to them, and I'm sure people are watching. Oh, we're actually attracting more viewers with our craziness. Just like we're on board here with the 58. It's Stephen Paulison riding in the 11th place position. The 58 machine's been driving real well so far. He's going to come down a bit here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Paulison might have a problem as Stab now goes by him. Also, in other news, Lake Peterson is still the leader in the number 9. But our producer has left the building, so you're not going to be able to see that as we watch Paulison come down to the pit lane.
We'll narrate this pit stop here as he's still at pit road speed, trying to keep it down in every sector here. Here soon, he's going to turn right into his pit box. He stops. The pit crew jumps over the wall.
They're not going to renew our contract at the end of the year. You know that, right?
They lift the right side of the car. 2 tires are being changed. They'll drop the jack, go around to the right side of the car. They'll lift that up as well. Tires are being put on, fuel in as well.
And my goodness,
he's off and
Terry,
away.
he has a cloud of smoke come from the back end of the car as he goes back onto the pit lane.
Championship implications.
He more pit stops, more green flag pit stops. Here comes Chad Malik. It's not just me, it's him too.
The 06
came back.
Pit crew lifts up the right, lifts up the left.
Do you think Terry sounds? Wow.
We can't repeat that on the radio.
I'm scared now. Okay, I'm scared. We're gonna go to break. You know what? Let's go to a damn break.
Top of the hour,
We're at the top of the hour. We're at the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of radio identification on the Community Radio Network. iRacing on LSRTV. Saved by the FCC. We'll be back.
They're gonna pull us off the air regardless.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outlet up topside at one of the great racetracks of the world, the Caraway Speedway. And I'd like to remind you to join us every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern with coverage of Finish Line, where we talk to everybody from NASCAR to grassroots, like right here at Caraway Speedway. Carolina's Fox Sports Radio affiliates, iHeartRadio, and on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM. And remember, thanks to Live Sim Racing Productions, you can actually see the guest panel, ask their questions, get interactive with us with comments, and so much more in our chat box. Finish Line every Wednesday. Join us every week.
This is our series,
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it?
They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Green flag pit stops continuing here on lap number 54 of 175. Welcome back to Dover. Northwest iRacing Cup Series playoffs, round of 8. And of course, the final round of the round of 8 to lock in the championship 4 will be next Monday night at Phoenix. The championship race will be at Homestead. So you got this weekend tonight going on, next Monday night, the 14th, and then November the 21st, right before Thanksgiving there, Terry, we will decide a champion.
And for the trucks, we'll do it live and in person together.
That's right.
I think
Yes.
That's we get to sit here and call an awesome championship race side by side. So that's I think that's going to be a little bit cooler than most. We'll obviously call their penultimate race Thursday and then Monday before we pack up and go do it live. Unfortunately for the Cup Series, we don't get to call their finale live unless we just decide to, meet somewhere in the middle between our states. But pit stops have happened. Peterson's pulled away Brian Reynolds. He comes down pit road from second. So that's interesting, as this has been, I'm not going to say as boring as the Golf Channel, but pretty close.
Well,
I got candy, so I'll sit over here and enjoy my Kit Kat.
you went trick-or-treating? You still have Halloween candy from last Monday?
No. So my mother-in-law, God rest her soul, bought me candy. And my wife brought
She
it back.
died and she left you candy already?
No, she's still alive, but her soul needs to be blessed.
Oh, my God. Wow.
She's a redhead.
You're horrible. You're horrible,
She's a
Terry. I
redhead.
can't believe you would say something like that on air.
Why not?
Oh,
She's
okay.
a redhead.
That's-
She has no soul and needs to be blessed.
She's a firecracker.
She's something.
I've heard some things about redheads, I'm telling you. Yes, yeah. All right, Lake
She's anything
Peterson
like
is the
her
leader.
daughter.
Chris White in second. Sean Brightsman third. And we are seeing green flag pit stops. Jaden Ledbetter now giving up a 6th position. He's onto the pit lane. If this is correct, there's only like 9 or 10 cars on the lead lap right now. That's it.
Yep. Yeah, it'd be a bad time for a caution.
our producer's got jokes.
See, it's funny. It's funny because nobody can hear him, and he tries every week to throw us off. And what's sad
it's intentional.
It's intentional. And what's sad is
and
about
normally
90,
normally we ignore him. We ignore the hell out of him.
90% of the time we just let him go. And we don't pay attention to what he says. He'll tell us the most important fact of the race. We don't listen. He could tell us that the Sims crashed, and we're like, oh, whatever. We'll just call what's on the screen. But for some reason tonight, I feel like he stepped his game up. Like he wrote a bunch of stuff down in a book. He's reading it to get us off here.
Got y'all ready, boy. Come on, Arsenal.
Yeah, the fans at home don't know this. That there's somebody literally sitting in our ear. They don't tell us what to say. We don't have a teleprompter like most of these other people, but he tells us somewhat important facts. I don't know how much importance he tells us other than, hey, you're going on camera or you're not. But he's doing this intentionally tonight.
We're happy to be here. That's all I'm going to say. I am not.
I'm just trying not to get fined.
What was that noise? What was that? Oh.
He's making dog noises in our ear. I'm just going to enjoy my Kit Kat.
He is eating candy while on the broadcast, people, okay?
I sure am.
I hope you don't choke on your Kit Kat.
Well, I got a Snickers
bars
over here because I'm not me when I'm hungry. There you go, Snickers.
Yeah.
Come sponsor me. Good.
Oh my God, we're so
well. If Charles could put me on camera real quick.
Yeah, go ahead and put him on camera real quick. Let's see whatever ain't nothing else going on in his life.
There's all my candy.
What is that? Let's see what is that? Was that M&M's and Kit Kat?
No. I mean, I can go get some. I've got Almond Joy, Kit Kat.
Oh, wow.
Hershey's, and Snickers. Oh, and then I got this big thing of fudge. It's a Rocky Road fudge.
Fudge Dudge.
Yeah, I'm going to eat this at some point in time in this broadcast.
There you go. It must be that boring.
I mean, I eat when I'm bored. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's this battle right here, Paulison and Ledbetter. But they're 2 laps down.
Terry, why do you think these cars are just, we really thought that there would be a lot of cautions in this race tonight. And so far, we're 70 laps in. They're going. I mean, we're 105 laps to the checkered flag. That's how fast this race is really going by. And it shouldn't go by that quick, but it is.
I mean, when you're having fun, kind of do it. I mean, the crazy part that you think about it, the top 3 have not pitted. They haven't.
Right.
And we're 71 laps in, and they're kind of following suit to what our producer said in our ear, that it's about 75 laps on the tires and about 85 on the fuel. So, he was, whatever, shut up. Yeah, I get out of my
Charles,
ear.
we're going to let you come in here. What do you got to say to us? He said he's going to tell us why. So, Charles, what is the reason why? And people, for the first time in a long time, you will hear Charles Wooten here in the broadcast, the guy that's normally in our ear, our producer.
Oh, the reason why, for all the fans out there listening, can finally hear me now. These guys are just the best of the best here. That's why we're not seeing the cautions.
I told you. He had a smart-ass comment. I literally told you he had something smart to say.
That is smart. That's awesome. He said we're the best of the best.
Hey, Wesley, I don't think he was talking about us. I don't think
Terry, you got me. I was trying to reverse psychology it.
Unfortunately, I can't lie to myself. I know he wasn't talking about us. He would have something even crazier to say if he was talking about us.
How about this, though, Charles? Chime in on here, my friend. We're going to wrap up season number 9 of the Truck Series coming up in a few weeks. Season 10 of the Trucks next year, and a decade of iRacing on LSRTV coverage as well. A decade of sim broadcasting for the leader in sim racing.
That wasn't exactly public knowledge to be released yet. I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with Wesley. No, well, it is. Let's be honest. I don't want to call this boring, but they are spread out. So while we watch pit stops, season.
He's stopping.
He's stopping. He's done. He's gone in tonight. We'll switch to someone else. Season 10 is coming up for 2023. And with season 10 coming around, I think it's time for a refresh. We're going to freshen things up. We're going to work on some more animated graphic stuff. We're going to pull the stops out from season 10. And of course, that's going to carry over to other leagues we do as well. So, hey, if you're looking to get on LSRTV, 2023 looking like it's going to be the golden year to do it with the 10th anniversary of the Northwest Truck Series. This series hasn't been on there as long, but overall, the Northwest Racing and Truck Series has been in operation. It will be 10 years next season. So, we're pulling a lot of the stops out for that. We'll have better internet. We'll have better everything. So, be looking forward to seeing what's going to happen then.
Charles, can I interject for a second? I hear you're firing some dude named Terry.
No, we said he was on fire. Not that he is fired.
Okay. Okay, I thought you said you were firing him. I was like, you know what? Good riddance. That guy sucks.
Hey, by the way, Charles, put me up on the screen real quick. If you don't mind, please.
Well, turn your camera on and I might.
Yeah.
What are we?
As we are
doing
approaching
here?
halfway here. Look at this. Hey,
oh my God,
he gets bigger candy than me.
We're in this together, buddy. Put me back on the screen.
We're together.
Well, you know what?
Wait,
it is time for the mid-race report. We are coming up on halfway, so let's go ahead and bring us inside the broadcast booth for the...
We're pretty close.
It got me.
We're there.
We literally
what else are we
are,
talking
okay?
about?
Like, what are we... 5 laps away to halfway, 6 laps away to halfway? I mean, come on. Put us... I'll mail you some of these to Texas, Charles, okay?
You better come bearing snacks in our hotel room.
Oh, we got room service. They're just going to give us continental breakfast every day, donuts and coffee.
That's all I care about.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome inside the broadcast booth as we are approaching halfway. Oh, God, my hair. Fix my Look at this. We're in this together. Terry, what do you think? Pick
That's
a color,
an awful
any color.
combination. The Jack Links. I got Rocky Road fudge.
You said almond joy, though, man.
Buc-ee's. I know.
Yeah, you said almond joy, and I was like, cha-ching.
It was in the Justice League heart, so that's when I know she meant it. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So, anyhow, we're having candy. I'm not. I promise you, though, he's eating on the air. I don't do that. I'll eat after, and then I'll stay up another 3 hours. But anyhow,
they need to watch me
halfway this race. Terry, you're taking this race so far, buddy. It seems like it's Thursday night, except we don't have tailgate to tailgate on the track.
This fudge was really good. Bucky's killed it again. Absolutely phenomenal fudge. The Kit Kats were smacking. Almond Joy was amazing. The Snickers really hit the spot.
Would you stop talking about food? I'm talking about the race. What race?
So am I.
Okay. In your
I am
defense,
I'm talking about the race that's going to send me to the bathroom here in about 20 minutes. So there's 2 races happening here. There's one in my gut, and then there's one on the racetrack. But this isn't a race. Hate me. Don't hate me. You're watching this race. The people in the chat, the entertainment here. I mean, it's not on the track. Now, granted, this is what racing's about, but I mean, there are no battles. It's 1 lap, 2 laps, 3 laps, 10 laps. I mean, there's 13 drivers on this racetrack at the moment that are currently 1, 2, or 3 laps down.
That's right.
There's no battles. I mean, I'm looking up and down the scoring pylon. There is nobody within. I mean, Chad Malik in the 0.6 is 0.6 of a second behind Stephen Paulison at the moment. They're both 2 laps down. I'm the blunt one. I guess you could call me the butt in this situation, but there's nothing out here to call side by side. There's no wrecks. Everybody saved it. I got candy. I got fudge. I got a vape. I got ibuprofen. That's what this race's giving me. It's a headache.
Wow. Well,
strong words.
Yeah, that is very strong words. That's a very bold strategy as well to say about our colleagues here for the Northwest. But I mean, I have to say that in a very nice way, I have to say that I kind of agree with the same sentiments. This is definitely not the race that we thought we'd see. It's entailed totally differently than we thought it would be. There's been hardly any action going on. We've had a couple of cars smack and slam the wall, but they quickly get back fixed or get back to the bottom of the apron and go to the pits and get fixed. And again, as we officially have now passed halfway, we get ready for the second half of this race. I feel like it's another Thursday night here the other day, and it makes me go to wonder the powers that be of the Northwest, Terry, might need to look back and reconsider what tracks they actually have to race in the playoffs to run, because maybe these tracks just ain't cutting it anymore.
Now, listen, I'm not asking for a track change. This is one of the hardest tracks to race. We'll cut it dry. It's cut and dry here. I agree with the producer dude in my ear. I agree with him. It's the car count. You start a bunch of these leagues, you start at 30, 40 drivers, 43 show up week to week. You get to the playoffs, and just because you're eliminated, show your ass up. Come out here and race. Like, come race, come be a part of it. Come change the dynamic of it. Make it special. Make it feel like somebody won the championship. You get down to the Final Four, I'm sure a lot of people are going to come back and watch and hear that me and you were doing it live from Florence Speedway together for the championship race. They're going to want to show up. People are going to watch that. They're going to be like, oh, these two are sitting in a high above the Speedway here where a bigger race is going to happen. Let's do it. Make it entertaining. Make it a 40-car field where we just don't have the same. Like right now we have literally, I can't make this up. 12th is a lap down. 14th is 17 laps down. 24 laps down for 15th. 16th is 52 laps down. 54 laps down. 55 now for 17th. 18th is 65 and 71 laps down for the 19th place car, and 2 of them didn't even take the grid.
Well, we'll see what the rest of the race entails. Is again very controversial, but somewhat the truth. That's Terry Radford. I'm Wesley Outland, and this has been your LSRTV mid-race report here for the playoffs at Dover. Back on track with Sean Brightsman, of course, leading the way. Blake Peterson, Chris White, the top 3. And you look at Sean Brightsman, props to him, though, Terry. He had problems earlier in the race, and somehow, some way, back on the high horse, and he is back up in front, doing really well. And here comes Blake Peterson, Chris White, cars coming in. Guess what? Green flag pit stops again.
Yeah, we're still Cole Raz came in. He's still sitting there in the second place position, and now Brightsman comes in. So alternate strategies that are kind of playing out here. You'll see some cars come back out. And Peterson's going to have to charge back up here. He's going to be 1 lap down. So the fact that he waited for a long period of time to come in, these drivers who came in early, kind of plays the strategy. It'll flow back around because I don't see Peterson pitting again. I see the drivers that came in on lap 50 having to pit again. So this the 2-stop strategy, not too sure how that's going to play out for him, but it's gives us a little bit something to talk about, I guess.
Yeah. And right now, again, Sean Brightsman was up in front. Now he comes in, makes a green flag pit stop. Remember, they got to stay below the bottom of the apron as they hit the blend line off of turn number 2 to the back straightaway right about now, and then they can pull back up at the Dryden Bridge, the Dryden Oils Bridge. By the time they hit back to speed, it takes about a lap or so. That's another thing, too. You know, we mentioned it like for super speedway racing, Terry, like for Talladega or Daytona. The same could be said here at Dover because you're not at full speed immediately when you come off the pit lane. You've got to get back up about a lap and a half or so before you're back to full capacity, like the leader, like Cole Raz is.
Yeah, it takes you a minute. And I want to go back to what I said in the mid-race. For the drivers who showed up here tonight, that have shown up every single week, I commend them. I appreciate them. They give us something to talk about. They give us a reason to come out here and call these races. But the irritation for me, and it's leagues across the board, you pay your money to show up. The league owner of the Northwest paid good money to have LSRTV come out here and call these races. Me and you are the West Coast, or the East Coast. They're the West Coast. It's almost 12:30 on our side. We want to see a lot of drivers come out here and compete their heart outs and have fun and be competitive.
Sure.
And that's what stinks about the end of the seasons, because you know your season's over, but you still have something to compete for. And I would hate to be a sponsor on these cars, on the ones that don't show back up. When you put your name on and sign it for what's this, a 7 or a 25 race schedule for the Northwest, or a 30 and 32 race schedule. And when the playoffs start for those 10 races, you get 22 races out of them. And that last 10, you're like, oh, I didn't make it, I'm done. Or you miss it, and I want my money back, right? I would want I'd want to get paid back. But for the drivers who are still out here, that showed up to qualify, showed up to practice, showed up to put numbers on the board for us to talk about and give us something to do, thank you. And that's for every member on iRacing that shows up for their leagues to do it. Appreciate it. Peterson unlapped
and by the way, props to John Annenbacher as well. John Annenbacher is not racing with us in the number 89 entry, and he normally would be here, the green 89 out of Billings, Montana. But that is because he is at Phoenix. He went to the NASCAR race in Phoenix this weekend. So, but he's in the chat box. He's at least being interactive watching. And he's watching the race. Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
He's giving us something to talk about even when he's not here. And I could sit up here and say it. Me and you call, what do you think? Maybe 150, 200 races a year on here?
Oh, God.
You know, like,
I have no idea, no comment. I've lost count. Literally.
And I go across the board, right? I work for multiple different companies. You work for a couple. Yeah. You do a couple races outside of LSR.
Sure.
But just LSR alone, I've called majority of this season for both Cup and Truck. Called a couple major series. I work for RaceSpot. I work for iRacing outside of this. I've called races for Podium this year. And out of every single one of them that you call for, you sit here and you think, okay, we start off the season hot. RSR, I just finished calling that. I'll go to that season for a second. We started the season eliminating people in qualifying. We had the old-fashioned go or go homers in that series. We ended tonight, we had 23 drivers. We started the season finale at Phoenix.
Sure.
We started with 70 to start the season. And then everybody just fizzled off like a bubble bath. And, you know, they paid very good money to have RaceSpot come cover it. I got paid pretty decent to sit there and talk racing for 2 hours. Right. 23. I would just want to. I would want to see more participation towards the end of a season. And John Ottmacher's still out there, and he's still commenting and having fun. There's 18 people watching, and we'll give him a show. I mean, me and you could be as goofy as we want to be. Nothing to talk about on the track. 23 comes down, he's pitting. We'll see two pit stops coming out of these drivers, but Peterson's not pitting again. Let's remember that. He went 95. He went 95 laps, Wesley. He ain't pitting again.
Well, again, we watch Ledbetter now on the racetrack, along with Barnes, and I mean, well, like you said, nothing really going on. Obviously, Cole Raz is now the man in the lead. Devin West is in second, 5 seconds back. Briar Reynolds, 7, 6, 8 seconds back. Jaden Ledbetter, fourth, 14 seconds back, along with Barnes. This is the best battle on the racetrack, and that's what we're showing. And I do got to say, though, props to Brian Barnes and Jaden Ledbetter. They're probably having one of the best runs they've had unofficially right now here tonight at Dover.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I mean, obviously, we don't want to sit up here and be negative. I'm not criticizing the Northwest. I'm not criticizing this at all. This is as good of a show as you're going to get. This is iRacing. This is across the board, and this is not just iRacing. Trust me, I'm not bashing the product that I represent. That's not happening. It's Xbox, it's PlayStation, it's every one of the leagues that are out there across the board. But you see stories like Barnes, you see stories like Jaden Ledbetter. What a show that they're putting on. They're representing their team. They're representing themselves out here in the top 5, top 6. And they had issues. They had issues early in this race, Wesley. The 4 wasn't all perfect here in the 5th place position. He had a couple struggles earlier on, and now here they come. Stephen Paulison's had some issues. He's still sitting 2 laps down, hoping for a couple cautions to come out and to get back in this. He's got a fast machine. That's a fast 58 car. Same thing with Jeff Stabnow, 3 laps down. He's fast. He's up here competing his butt off for LSRTV. He hasn't given up.
$112 of 175 laps. You see the rundown, and Cole Raz is the leader. Devin West second, Briar Reynolds third, Blake Peterson fourth, Chris White fifth, and then we mentioned Barnes and Ledbetter. They're doing really well. Sean Breitzman, also good run for him. Paulison, Malik in the top 10. Toby Ritters, I know Toby Ritters in the 23, 2 laps down, but still a good solid run for him. Little moving and shaking and rattling. He could be right back in the hunt of things again as well for the 23 car winner at Talladega in the truck race a few weeks ago. Also, Terry, that was pretty special to call.
And I really hate that I missed that call for him. The fact that he got his win. And this is a guy, and hopefully, Charles, we stay here for a second because I have some nice things to say about him. He competes his tail off. It doesn't matter if it's the trucks or if it's here. He is a fierce competitor. You think of all the races so far, he's been there, right? He's been in contention. And when he's not in contention, he fights like hell to get in contention. You know, he doesn't roll over. He doesn't allow anything to rattle him. He's there, and he's stout when he's there. And this 23 is still putting on a show. You see Brian Reynolds in the pits. Obviously, our drivers that are going to have to make that second stop, which is Devin West and Cole Raz and all them. They're starting to come down now, but he's a guy that if you give him the right equipment, you give him the right set, he can win any time. I feel like any given week, you put him in a good truck ride with the open sets, you can circle him. I think next season we're looking at him. I'm going to go on a limb and say that he's going to be in the playoffs, maybe even in the Final Four, if not in the round of 8, trying to get to the Final Four next season in Cup and Trot.
Well, as it stands right now, it is Raz doing a phenomenal job. He is the leader. There's Ritters again. Watching all of this transpire as we approach the final 65 laps of this race. Closing in at over 50 to go. Obviously, lap 125 to 175 will be 50 laps remaining, so it's over 50 laps to go. And again, we're surprised. Terry is. I am as well. John Onnebacher comments, and he says, if I was there, there would have been a caution by now. Everyone is tiptoeing around in these cars. Can you elaborate more, Terry, on what John Onnebacher means by tiptoeing around these cars? Do you think they're just not using them to their full capacity because they know that they can lose control over them. They're not driving aggressively than usual because of that. What's the reason here?
So I talked about it earlier in the pre-race. You see it right here with the 06. I mean, and we're looking at it with Chad here. The rear diffuser on these cars, and I said this from the start when we went into Daytona to call a couple series, just driving these things around just did not feel like you were driving a car. Like the early parts, you thought for sure you were driving like some box car, like it's just something out of nowhere, like a bumper car or something. Those rear diffusers make the difference. And John actually in the chat, just by saying, they're tiptoeing, he's telling you the fact that these cars have such a weird balance. It's like a 50-50 chance you're going to wreck them or not, especially with the shifting. When you start to shift and you downshift into fourth or third, and then you try to go back up real quick, that creates a ton of force in the back. Now, granted, they went to a transaxle, which is much different than the drive shaft they were using before, and they had the rear axle on them to kind of get them to spin more. You're not getting that kind of torque out of it now. So when you go down, and this is just general car knowledge, it's not that I've worked on a next-gen car, but the little bit less of force that's put in the rear end of these cars when you go to shift in that single transaxle, it keeps the torque from the rear tires from actually spinning harder. So now that they're coming off the exit of the corner, and when they get back on the gas and they shift up real quick, well, that changes the balance. It changes the balance of the rear, changes the balance of the front, changes what you're doing with your hand on the steering wheel. There's a lot more action in these cars than most want to talk about, and especially now with the diffuser. The back end plants a little bit more. It's more flatter to the racetrack. It drags, and it's just a drag. You see right here, it just loose. Bigger tires, but still more grip. They still have yet to lose them in a bad way. And here's Paulison just tiptoeing but sliding, trying to push all he can out of this thing 2 laps down.
We're going to go
hold on, let's not leave.
to a commercial.
Peterson's catching here.
Yeah.
Peterson's about to take this lead.
Well, right now we're showing Paulison in the 8th position. Maybe we need to pick up and catch Cole Raz and Lake Peterson and at least see Peterson and Raz go out of here for the lead. He's trying to run him down here. This is for the lead off turn 4, but it just looks like Raz is not even fighting him. I mean, or Peterson is just that strong. I mean, yeah. He's
got 43 lap fresher tires on him, so Cole Raz has to pit. But, I mean, that was still the best battle we've seen. He passed him clean. That's the first pass we've seen under the green flag conditions.
I mean, he just gave it up. Well, here you go. We at least waited, and now Cole Raz just came onto the pit lane as well. So he said, I can't go no more. And he might have just got busted with a penalty because he was smoking the tires entering onto the pit lane.
He's bad. Yeah, I think he's bad.
Under 50 laps to go. We're going to go to a commercial break, side by side, so you don't miss a thing. Whatever it is that you're watching, the Northwest Playoffs from Dover will take you to the checkered flag after an extended commercial break. This is iRacing on LSRTV and on the Community Radio Network from Dover.
This is our series,
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it?
They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outlet up topside at one of the great racetracks of the world, the Caraway Speedway. And I'd like to remind you to join us every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern with coverage of Finish Line, where we talk to everybody from NASCAR to grassroots, like right here at Caraway Speedway. Carolina's Fox Sports Radio affiliates, iHeartRadio, and on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM. And remember, thanks to Live Sim Racing Productions, you can actually see the guest
guest panel, ask their questions, get interactive with us with comments and so much more in our chat box. Finish Line every Wednesday. Join us every week.
This is our series,
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it?
They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Your CRN, my CRN, our CRN. We are CRN. The Community Radio Network now and the new WCRN 87.9 FM. And still always anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN. Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Well, we're back here again. You've been going side by side to keep up with what is the closing laps of 40 remaining here at the Dover Motor Speedway, the playoffs. Caution free. Shades of what happened in the truck race, the same happening here in the Cup event. I think me and Terry and Charles, our producer, were talking off mic. I think we said there was close to maybe 12 cars on the track. Several are laps down, several are out of contention. And Lake Peterson, Terry, went to the lead. Sean Brightsman now up to second.
I mean, Lake Peterson's doing, Lake Peterson things. He's led every lap other than what Cole Raz led there. He took it. I actually looked through our chat to find some entertainment so far, and the Ritters family thanks us for the kind words, and he does.
You're very welcome. I think the world of them
man.
because we've known them for many, many years, and I remember when it was the now the good, but used to be the bad and the ugly for Toby Ritters, hands down, Terry, and he's really turned it around.
Yeah. Well, and I've been here a couple weeks, a couple months actually, a couple weeks, but I've called plenty of races, and you don't miss a beat in the chat, and the 22 that are watching, say hey, tell us you're out there, give us something to talk about here. There's 23 of you, give us something here. There's not much out here, but you do take notice. You see certain people on the racetrack that are here every week competing, and that makes you happy as an announcer, which is what we do in our day jobs, and
sure.
I get to race sometimes on here, and it makes me happy to see people. I get to race with some of these drivers in officials. I've had a couple of them out there. I've wrecked a couple of them. Talladega, I turned Frank Karras. It happens. I wanted to win. I won. He was on the tail end of me wrecking him, and it wasn't a move that I wanted to make. It was just a move I went for, and he won it. But unfortunately, I think Ledbetter's done. I think he's done as well. No, he kept going. He stopped early. He stopped and then he went. But yeah, what's the favorite candy?
What's your favorite candy?
Corn. I'm a candy corn guy.
I got a poll question. I poll the audience, Charles. Are you liking this race? Yes or no?
Let's not get anybody lying out there.
Just hear me out. What I mean to say is this. Are you liking this race with this car? Yes or no? That is what I was trying to put out there with this car. Because we saw the same thing with the truck, but now we're seeing it with the car. So that was what I was meaning to say. Not do you like the race? Because obviously the answer would be probably thumbs down across the board. Unless you're like Peterson. And again, by the way, and I'm thinking, if I remember it here, Lake Peterson, I think he's already punched his ticket into the championship. So there again, this last race at Phoenix is going to come down to possibly points here, Terry.
Yeah, you see the 10 up here, Cole Rath. Yeah, he's on fresh tires. I mean, he's Superman right now. He's going to do whatever he has to do. You see the 5 of
That's right.
Devin West and Jeff Stabnow going side by side, but Jeff's going to kind of let him roll that outside. You get past the bottom and go single file again. But
Dan West Jr. Not here. Okay, so Dan West Jr., Terry, as we mentioned, he won. He's in the playoffs. He knows he's going to the next round. Cole Rass, he knows he's going. Lake Peterson, if he wins this race, he is going 3 out of 4 to the championship 4 at Homestead. And then you've got one spot left for grabs for probably, 6 drivers or 5 drivers to fight it out if they make it at Phoenix next week.
Yeah, and I think Phoenix will be completely different than what we've seen here. I think we're going to see a little bit different style race. See a little bit more aggression. It would be kind of like a last-minute move, but yeah. I like what John said out there, though. It's going to be where the different strategies end up at the end. And I think he's absolutely right. I mean, I just watched a two-tire call win the race for Agnell Phillip over an RSR of Kevin King, which was I quoted AC/DC, and then I said, when he took the move, I said, he's got the biggest balls of them all. If you want to tell a two-tire strategy over a guy that's just dominated the field. And we both thought that too, where we thought that a strategy call would finish this race. It just hasn't.
That's true.
The Ritter family
There's
said
Ritters.
Butterfingers.
Yeah, does anybody remember whatchamacallit? Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whatchamacallit. That is my
Those
that
are so
was
good.
probably my favorite candy bar. Right. And
They were
Snickers
so
is
good.
Snickers is a very close second. But whatchamacallit, I used to love those things, man. Yes. And 100 grand. Remember 100 grand?
Yes. I was just about to say Zero. The old Zero bar.
Zero
used to
bars
taste
were
like,
good. Yep.
Yeah,
Man.
like my brother, before he passed away, used to tell me all the time that it was they smelt like nail polish remover, but they tasted so good.
I never tried to smell a candy bar before.
Well, when you take it out of the wrapper, you get that first initial smell, and the wrapper just smelled like nail polish remover. But Butterfinger's good. Nobody lays a finger on my Butterfinger.
That's right. And if you're a fan of a liquid candy, Charles Wooten recommends Red Bull.
Yes, I hear it gives you wings. And if it doesn't,
I'm surprised we ain't heard nothing from him yet. Did he fall asleep?
Well, what I know is somebody sued Red Bull a couple years ago and said that it didn't give them wings, so they sued them. But Kevin Smith actually has a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, Kevin here. Kevin's not here tonight. The Walla Walla Washington driver, the 00. Again, he probably had something else going on, which I understand. And he says, and I quote, as a competitor, what Lake Peterson is doing is absolutely insane. His run tonight is remarkable. As a spectator, we need cautions. Couldn't agree more. From the broadcast booth as well. 20 remaining, though, here. In what is going to be a sweep, unless something changes, of a caution-free events for the Truck Series and the Cup Cars. Terry Radford at Dover and Miles the Munster. Though his wrath was felt in some shape or fashion, he definitely didn't chomp him up like we would expect to see for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, we can sit up here all day long and say whatever, right? We can We can criticize the car count. We can criticize all the racing leagues in general. And I said it on Race Spot. I said it here on LSR. It's a damn shame that you start a league, you start a series with 49, 50 drivers. You end it with 19. You end this race here with 11. You end this race right here with 11 drivers. 12 if the 06 comes back out. 11 drivers, potentially 12, finishing this race in a season. And I don't even want to see what the championship race numbers would be. I feel like we'll be even more disgusted with the driver count. But you've got to give hats off to what
do we do,
Peterson
Terry,
did.
to fix that? What do we do to fix it?
You don't. And that's the crap part is you don't. You can give incentives. You can give whatever. There's leagues that do payouts for the entire team, whatever. But you don't. There's no easy answer to it. I mean, if every iRacing and every Xbox, every PlayStation, every whatever league can go out here and secure the sponsors that a Monday Night Racing gets, or an RSR, or an MPI Cup Series, or one of these big name places, and they can give $500 to the last place finishing driver. I'm sure there's some incentive in that, but without having to raise the price hikes of joining a league, I'm not too sure what the Northwest charged you, but I bet it was about $15 to $20 entry fee. They don't charge, so it's just donation. So a donation to come in and race. There's some leagues that if you go out and you pay $10 or $15, normally you're like, I don't want to give up $10 or $15, and you race every race. But I'm guilty of it.
15 to go.
15 to go. I'm guilty of it. There's times I'm busy, right? I join leagues to help with the money. Like I'll join a league and give 20 or $30 to be a field filler in races that I feel like I'm competitive in. But I broadcast. My schedule's pretty wild. I'm 7 nights a week.
Yeah, I mean, this is all I do. I mean, I'm an announcer. I announce racing. I announce iRacing. I announce sports. I do radio, television, public address, you name it. And I've never had any desire to ever want to get into iRacing or get an iRacing rig or want to race or compete, because I feel like my wheelhouse is in the broadcast booth. But with that being said, and I say this as well as we close in with 13 laps to go, we also see so many. And I told somebody this the other day that we were talking iRacing at Dillon Motor Speedway, as a matter of fact, Terry. And one of the things I said was the same things happen with iRacing. There's too many roosters in the hen house, whether it's too many racing leagues that want to mimic and mock each other, too many broadcast leagues that want to broadcast against what the quality is, that is LSRTV or the iRacing Broadcasting Network, or any of the other ones that we've got. And I'm not trying to make anybody mad by this comment, but it's like we're losing sight of what iRacing was meant to be, especially when the pandemic hit back in 2020. That's when it really spiked, for sure. And now it just seems like, well, I've got a computer, I've got a microphone, I've got a mixer board. I'm going to broadcast iRacing now. And I probably could broadcast iRacing from my home, but I'm not going to do it because I'm not a Charles Wooten, and I'm not a Jeff Stabnow, and I'm not a LSRTV. I can't do the quality job like you're watching this broadcast, whatever it is right now, going on at Dover or the other exciting races that we've had the privilege to call. And by the way, this race is coming to 10 laps to go. We're ready to see this come to an end, no doubt about it. And again, Lake Peterson just picking them up and putting them down. Sean Breitzman all the way 13 seconds back. Cole Rass 23 seconds back. And Lake Peterson is looking to punch his ticket to the championship final. He ain't got to worry about Phoenix. He goes to Homestead. He'll join Dan West Jr. He'll join Cole Rass to race for a championship. And honestly, Terry, this race has not been that very entertaining. But Lake Peterson, hands down, we called it, was going to be one of the drivers that would be in the championship 4. He had to have been. As much as he dominated this entire season, bottom line.
Yeah, you see a side See a side-by-side battle right here between the 5 and the 10. Devin West trying to put it on Cole Raz here. Cole Raz pitted on lap 128, 116 down here for Devin West. So kind of expect Cole Raz to pass here and get up to the high side. But Devin West still holding true at the bottom. These two battling for this would be the third.
Well, hey, Terry, what's Charles talking about? Spit it out. Spit it out. What is the record?
I was about to absolutely agree with what you said. You know, there's when the pandemic hit, iRacing kind of jumped into a different fold, and I wasn't on iRacing at the moment. I came in after I got out of Korea.
I left. I got involved. I'll be honest with you, Terry. I was one of the probably original announcers of iRacing when it first started. I used to do stuff with iRacing when it first launched with the original LSRTV. Okay. In addition to that, I also did some other stuff with some other networks. But I started off of R Factor from Dirt, and then iRacing came about. I left because of the being in the seeing. You read between the lines of what those letters mean, being and seeing. Because of the negativity, because of the crybabies, because of all of the things that I left for, I was done with it. You know, you got people saying I'm going to go to this person's house and drag them out of their home and beat them up because I didn't like him passing me the way he did. And that's what it got to, and that's why I left. But when I came back in 2020, it's been different. I've looked at things differently, and it's been fun. And I'm not saying that I'm not enjoying it. But, you know, I wish we would have had a whole lot more cars. I wish we would have had the yellow flag wave. But somehow, some way, we're getting to the end of this thing. And Cole Raz, Lake Peterson is trying to lap Cole Raz and Devin West for 4th and 3rd place. That's what I was trying to get to. And 2 to go here at Dover.
Well, and I'll say, not just because I'm an independent contractor with iRacing, but this is the best form of simulation motorsports across the world. And I can say that wholeheartedly. Number 1 across the board. It beats any of the Xbox and PlayStation games. This is the world's leader. And you can join Black Friday deals. Enough white flags out. He might lap this, and this is speaks to the testament of Blake Peterson. He's on the back bumper of 3rd.
2 cars in the lead lap if he gets around them.
I don't think he will. He's not going to force it.
I think he's playing nice. Yeah, I think he's being nice. 4 cars will finish this race. Peterson coming off of turn number 4. He will not run down Raz or West, who finished in 3rd and 4th in front of him. And Lake Peterson, the dominator, the number 1 driver of this season, is a winner again, his 12th win, and he joins Cole Raz and Dan West Jr. for the finale at Homestead. And again, as I said, 2 races at Dover, 2 different models, Cup and Truck, caution free. And again, Lake Peterson. Don't take anything away, like Kevin Smith said, Terry. What a performance by Lake Peterson here tonight. Holy cow.
You cannot take away from what this guy just did. He led every
some crashing
lap. Yeah, finally. Every lap minus the pit strategy.
Whoa!
Oh, what a smack. had to come back from almost a full lap to do it. But he did
There's some entertainment out of this now. The Northwest High Five salute. The virtual demolition derby of the Northwest for Victory Lane.
Who's going to hit him next?
Who's coming at him at full speed? Who's coming at him at head? Oh, Toby Ritter, strike
Ritter's
1.
Missed him.
Somebody. Barnes, number 4. I'm understanding he's bonsaiing him.
He missed him.
Are you serious? Okay. Ritter's go around, make another lap. Oh, there went somebody trying to make a run after him. Lake Peterson, by the way, the winner. Look at that. 12 seconds back, Sean Brightsman. 25 seconds back, Devin West, Cole Raz. By the way, those were the drivers that were 3rd and 4th, and Lake Peterson was on their backside. Brian Barnes will finish 1 lap down in 5th. Brian Reynolds, Chris White, Jaden Ledbetter, Toby Ritters, a top 10 finish again for the 9th place spot. And Stephen Paulison, even a good run for him in the top 10 here at Dover, caution free.
You go back here to 11th, 3 laps down. Jeff Stabnow, Chad Malik, 49, Aaron Cooper, 81, 101 for Carl Burke, 110 for Caden Anderson, 138 for Troy Daggett, 140 for Bryce Clark, 151 for Harris, 56 for Stephen O'Hare, 176 for Chris Kamari, and we got 176 for Casey Garber. Yep, 176 for Casey Garber back in 21st.
21 drivers, again, 4 cars on the lead lap when the checker flag fell here tonight at the Dover Motor Speedway. Coming up, finish line, post-race wrap-up. I promise you, it's going to be quick. Lake Peterson, 12th win, on to the championship for the race of the Cup Series at Homestead. You knew it was going to happen, especially with the year he's had. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to the podium when we return. We're also at the top of the hour. Also, we'll pause for 10 seconds of radio identification. This is iRacing on LSRTV and the Community Radio Network here at Dover.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Finish line, post-race wrap-up here at Dover, caution-free. The trucks went caution-free Thursday. The same thing happens here tonight. Ryan Bloom won the truck race on Thursday. He's going to the championship finale at Homestead. Now, going to Homestead with them will be also Lake Peterson of the Cup cars and the man that's been just a dominator all year long. 12th win he just picked up here tonight in the event here. Welcome to the finish line post-race wrap-up by Terry Radford. I'm Wesley Outland, Charles Wooten in the buttons box, and we're going to grab now our third place driver, Devin West, man. Obviously, actually, I think it was Sean Brightsman. My apologies. Sean, your take of this race, being third. No, it was Devin. I'm sorry. Devin West, third place. You and Sean were battling all of this going on the racetrack, man. Your take of this event, and obviously, interesting race here at Dover, kind of like the trucks turned out to be, too, on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, Dover isn't my favorite track in the world. Honestly, I haven't ran that well my previous seasons here. And they put a lot of practice in. And so to run top 3 both races, I'm ecstatic. I mean, that's great, especially in this league where so many guys are so fast. And then they have green flag runs all the way through in both races. I mean, it's just a testament to this league. These guys, you know, they all know what they're doing, know how to drive, know how to be patient. So I know for the broadcasting it gets a little spread out, get a little boring, but for the drivers, you know, with saving tires and there's different strategies, which is kind of cool tonight. It's super intense, so a lot of fun.
What you got, Terry?
How was the tires?
They were good. I think, as the broadcast probably saw, the tires were, well, actually, I would say they're not that good. They really suck, to be honest with you. After about 25 laps or so, qualify was crazy. You had to save from lap 1. There was no using your fresh tires to advantage. So that kind of made things interesting. Obviously, we saw some guys like Sean and Lake go 1 stop. Guys like me and Cole go 2 stops, and I really thought I had Sean, and really I thought I had Lake there for a little bit. But those guys are so fast, and the 1 stop definitely proved to be the way to go. So, I mean, the tires are all right. Made for a good race for us.
Well, Devin, listen, buddy, I'll let you segue that and thank your sponsors also. But are we going to see you at Phoenix and Homestead for the remaining races? I know you're not one of the championship drivers, but it's always great seeing you whenever you can make the return to run with the series. And obviously pretty cool to see your dad running for a cup title coming up in a few weeks as well.
Yeah, you'll definitely see me on Thursday nights. I mean, I know I'm not running for a championship, but this league's so much fun that I just got here to have fun, man. It's just a blast to run these guys, and yeah, I don't know. You'll see me on Thursday nights. Monday nights, I'm not sure. Tonight was kind of a weird deal with some weather that caught me a break for some free time. So, yeah, to see Dad running again for his 3rd year in a row going for a championship, and that's sweet. He couldn't be here tonight, unfortunately. But obviously, I'm going to do everything I can to help him out, and I'd love to see him win it. So, sponsors, the usual, Can Discuss from Hardwood, Practice Web Solutions, Motorsports Distributing, Vance Automotive, they all help me out in real life. They're just huge supporters of mine, so big shout out to them. And also LSRTV too.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's the thoughts of Devin West. He will finish in the number 3 position. Sean Brightsman joined me up in the broadcast booth along with Brockton Packard last night for the Major Series finale at Homestead. Sean, back in the race car tonight. Good, bad, ugly, caution-free, 2nd spot. Your take of the race here, and obviously good way to come back after you having some problems at the start.
Yeah, overall a kind of an impressive race. I mean, there definitely should have been some cautions at the start. We saw a lot of cars going all over the place. Cautions just didn't throw for iRacing's protocol. Kind of let it to happen with green flag racing, green flag pit stops for a couple of us. Only 1 green flag pit stop. Unfortunately, just an overall good night. Kind of fell back there, just trying to bide my time and save those tires on that first run, and kind of worked out. Decided to do that 1 stop. Fortunately, after that was catching Chris. Just kind of throttled it a little too much there out of exit. Kind of had to overcorrect and save it right into Chris, and just kind of kept moving up and ended up turning him directly into the inside wall. So just hate it, and I already apologized to Chris over the race radio, but I'll apologize again. Very sorry for that, Chris, man. You had a great car tonight, and probably should have been on the podium.
Well, I guess I'll throw it out there. The low car count that happens towards the end of the season, what do you say to people that was here early in the season to maybe want to bring them back to run the final 10 races of a championship run?
I really wish I had an idea. We've done things where we've given out bonuses for those that are not in the playoffs to finish highest standing. It brought out a few more cars, but I don't know if it's just people get tired or whatnot. Maybe during this off season we throw out a poll and hopefully get a lot more, or at least 20 or so, 20 to 30. That way we get the playoffs. I mean, it's kind of the whole point of it, right? Is not to, if you have a bad night in the playoffs, that could be the end of your round, versus, it's only 17th place or 18th place. So hopefully we can get these guys to start showing up again, and we're getting to the end of the season. It's hard to get people to show up anyway.
And last year and years past, it almost went all the way in December, close to Christmas, before we even finished the season. So even trying to finish it up earlier before Thanksgiving was something that was definitely planned to be done this year for sure. Sean, I guess there's nothing else left to say, brother. Obviously, get ready for Phoenix next week, then Homestead, and we'll see what you can do in a run for a truck championship. I know you don't have a run for a cup title, but always great seeing what you can do on the track. Good job with the runner-up finish, and thank your sponsors on the 46.
Thank you, Wesley. Yeah, just got to thank Bright's Boutique, LSRTV, Central Welding Supply, Blenders Eyewear, Swag Golf, And everybody here at the Northwest Racing Series LSRTV again, thank you guys for having me in the booth, and enjoyed it last night, and look forward to the next few weeks, and hopefully I can dig myself out of the hole in the truck series.
Yeah, man, it certainly was fun to be able to work with you last night. How entertaining that was, of course, seeing David Gargaro Jr. lock up the championship for American Sportsmen in the Major Series, thanks to Mike and all they've done. Let's go now. Sean Brightsman, runner-up here tonight at Dover Victory Lane. Lake Peterson, man, it's only fitting that we talk to you in the playoffs because, hands down, you have been the top dog all year long. 12th win of the season. Sheer domination. You were about to lap Devin West and Cole Rast to put just 2 cars on the lead lap at the checkered flag. Man, you're taking this race, Lake Peterson. I know you got to be excited. You could take off at Phoenix next week. I know you're not going to, but are you ready to win that championship and culminate this entire amazing season you've had?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of one of those deals where, like, you can have all this good stuff going for you, and then when you get in the championship race, it only takes that one mistake for it all to be for naught. So, I mean, we just got to keep up this momentum as best as I can. Tonight was really weird. I wasn't expecting it to go caution free. I kind of knew from the get-go that I was, if it did go green, that I was gonna stop it. Your lap's at about 25 seconds, and then it just stays put there as long as you take care of your stuff, and you just don't have enough. You just kind of run out of tire to make up the 2 laps if you pit early. So that was kind of the game plan, and just took care of my stuff throughout the race.
You talk about taking care of your stuff. I mean, you almost lapped up to second. What fuels you to come out here and do? I mean, you've done this a lot, but what fuels you to continuously keep, putting butt whoopings on people?
This track, well, I guess first off, this track is by far my favorite track / best track. Yeah, I mesh with it really well, and it meshes with me really well, and then we kind of two-tango it to the finish there. There's just something about this place that I just have, I guess, a good feel for, and it just kind of suits my driving style, where you're kind of hard in and hard off sort of thing, and you're just kind of managing the center of the corner to drive off as straight as possible, to save your tires. Another thing is, I guess I'm sure, like all of us, we just really like winning, and when you're winning, it feels really good. So that's just, I guess that's the underlying motivation behind it, and I really like this community that our admins have built here, and it's just a fun ordeal to be a part of, and the winning's just kind of the cherry on top, I guess you'd say.
Lake, final question. You can segue this also into your sponsors, buddy, so we can get off the air. The lack of the cars tonight, does that make you race differently, or is it disappointing when you're not racing with a full 43 car pack and it's only 20?
It doesn't really change my mentality too much. I mean, in my mind, I plan to be racing the top 5 guys regardless, and those are the people that I need to beat. This is not taking anything away from anyone else. It's just, like, does it make you feel like you have less of a chance of the race, like, ending up worse for you than it could be? Yeah. I mean, when there's less cars, I mean, there's definitely less of a risk when it comes to your strategy. It's definitely more straightforward, I think. So it does take that element out of it, which is a little bit disappointing. But I also understand that, like, what motivates people to come out here is having the opportunity to compete for a championship. Like, that's the end goal, and kind of when you're out of contention of it, I can see how you could lose a little bit of wind in your sails, and people have lives outside of this, and yeah, so when you're not competing for anything, I think maybe people, this stuff doesn't quite take as much precedence, which I totally get. I guess leading into my sponsors, want to thank Phoenix Designs for the paint schemes. Liam Brotherton does a fantastic job on those. Everyone at KAR and SFE, which I don't know. No one from SFE really runs anymore, so I guess the KAR guys are my main buddies out here. And then our admins, I really appreciate everything they do to get this stuff together. I know it's not easy, and they put a lot of effort into this. And you guys, LSRTV, really appreciate you guys doing a fantastic job. Even when the races are dry, you definitely make the most out of them. So I appreciate it, and have a good night.
There are now 2 drivers, Lake Peterson, Dan West Jr., that will be racing for a championship at Homestead for the Northwest Cup Series title. Cole Raz sits in the number 3 spot. Briar Reynolds 4th. But, Terry, I'll close with this. If you're Brian Barnes, Caden Anderson, Jeff Stabnow, or even a driver that watched the race but not present tonight, Kevin Smith, you have got to pull some type of rabbit out of the hat. A Hail Melon like Ross Chastain did at Martinsville. Something, somehow, some way next week at Phoenix to put yourself in the championship 4 to join the 2 drivers that are locked in unofficially of Lake Peterson and Dan West Jr.
2 tires is a good strategy. You get a late race run with about 5 or 6 to go. Take 2. If you're listening to the broadcast, I'm giving you the winning strategy. Get a good launch on the bottom. Take control of it. Hope that the guy in 3rd actually holds the spot and can compete with that 2nd place driver on the outside lane. Seen it work twice this week. Saw it in the NIS race, now 2 days ago, and yesterday saw it in RSR competition that 2 tires or no tires that make a difference. You can hold it with clean air.
But we'll certainly find out what'll happen. Again, the Truck Series will be at the Phoenix Raceway this Thursday night, the penultimate race of their season. Final race in the round of 8 to make it to the Championship 4 finale at Homestead. And we will be at Phoenix next Monday night for the Cup cars. And hopefully the race will be a lot more wilder and exciting than it turned out to be tonight. But when final closing ends, caution free for the trucks, caution free for the Cup cars here at Dover. Sheer domination by the man that has been literally the #1 seed, the top dog of the Northwest in Cup all year long, Mr. Lake Peterson, winning tonight, almost lapping to the top 2 cars remaining on the track. And when it's all said and done with only 4 cars on the lead lap, he will go to Homestead to race for a championship. And we will have it for you. For Charles Wooten, Jeff Stabnow, everybody at Rocket Media Live Sim Racing, CRN, Terry Radford, I'm Wesley Outland. Good night. God bless. We'll see you next week at Phoenix.